Okay, let's go find my, whoops. Okay.
Oh, just a quick thing. It's actually Starsea, not Start C. I don't know if that can be changed. It's not a big deal.
Yes, let's see.
Yeah, no T.
Okay, let me get
Thank
rid of this floating. Okay.
you.
I'm usually the one like, hey, it's 9 o'clock, let's start. Okay. All right. For those of you with a photographic memory, you now know what all the slides are going to be. So, welcome to 1 Million Cups. My name's Laura Good, and I will be your tour guide today. So, 1 Million Cups is a program of the Kauffman Foundation. We, here on the West Coast, we aren't as familiar with them. They're based in Kansas City, Missouri, but it's the largest foundation focused on entrepreneurship in the world. And they encourage entrepreneurs to take risks, own success, and be uncommon. So we'll get into a little bit more about the 1 Million Cups program. In the meantime, just to encourage a little networking, if you want to put a little something in the chat about who you are, what your startup is, maybe a link to your LinkedIn profile, please feel free to do that. So the program we're here for today, 1 Million Cups, uh, it has been going on in Sacramento since 2016, meeting every week. And except for a few holiday weeks, we take a break. The mission of 1 Million Cups, if you're new, is to lower the barrier of access to resources and connections for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs. And it's a US program, but we do welcome visitors from Brazil. So welcome, Gustavo. So for those of you who are new, what is 1 Million Cups? There's over 110 communities throughout the United States. We're here about building community and supporting entrepreneurs. It's not an investment pitch. Sometimes it may sound like an investment pitch because we're allowing people to practice their investment pitch for feedback. But what it's really all about is getting behind these entrepreneurs, supporting them, getting to know each other, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, and just, really focusing on creating community. Presentations are about 6 minutes long. And then it's followed by 20 minutes of feedback and Q&A. We encourage you to ask questions, give feedback, share your response like, wow, what a really cool idea, because that's what we're here to do. So don't be shy. And then this isn't Shark Tank, so please be nice in your comments and feedback. Um, we like to keep a friendly tone, not a challenging tone. So let's be supportive and radically inclusive. I mentioned before, we like to make connections. It's not about seeing how many people you can add to your LinkedIn so you can then go sell something to them. So we meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on Zoom. And then once a month, we have an in-person event that is also hybrid, live streamed. And we invite you to join us in person. That's always a really great experience. And next week is our in-person meeting for November. We'll be at the Carlson Center. So I'd like to thank our sponsor, SMUD. We don't have a big budget. None of us are paid, but SMUD sponsors us annually and helps us cover some of the incidental costs that come up from time to time. And I mentioned we're an all-volunteer organizer team. We've got 10 folks on our team here. You can see their photos there. I know Arlene and Rich and Franklin are here. Some of the others may be here as well. I haven't kept track of, of who's joined, but any of these folks can help you out if you have questions, if you're interested in presenting. And I also want to point out that all of our volunteers are sorry for the cough, involved in supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the greater Sacramento region through the organizations that actually pay them a salary. We've got Startup Sac, which I'm with, the Growth Factory, which May is with. For those of you who know May, she just had a baby girl and she's taking a couple months off. Arlene is with the Carlson Center. Rich gets the big points for the most organizations, MedStart, Startup Grind, and Startup Folsom, and the Entrepreneurship Academy. I'm on the board, and Steven's on the board. The Traction Lab, JDM is the founder of that. And then we also want to point out the Northern, uh, what is it? The NorCal Entrepreneur Hub is a website that you can go to find out what's going on. So check those out. We're all here to support you. So we invite you to join our community. What does that mean? There's no credo you have to sign, nothing like that. Just if you go to 1millioncups.com/Sacramento and you create a login and decide to follow our community, then once a week you'll get notifications about who's speaking. So just a reminder that no offer to invest is being made or solicited from the audience. As I mentioned before, occasionally our presentations take the form of an investor pitch for practice purposes. So we have two presenters today. First up will be Shauna Grace with Starsea Quests, then followed by Elias Farzad presenting Helping Hand. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and invite Shauna to share hers, and we'll get started.
Amazing. Is everybody able to see that?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity and for all the work that you guys do to support entrepreneurs and dreamers. I'm really grateful to be here and excited to share this project that's been growing in my heart for years now. My name is Shauna Grace, and I'm the founder and creative director of Starsea Quests. It is a creative universe of tools designed to nurture emotional resilience, inner trust, and connection with nature in children. So it's no surprise that our kids are growing up in a world of noise, speed, and stress. From climate anxiety to school violence and social media pressure, so many of our kids are stuck in survival mode. Yet we ask them to sit still, to focus, to behave. But without emotional safety or tools, it's kind of like expecting a garden to bloom without sunlight. When kids lose touch with their inner garden, that space where confidence and compassion grow, we lose more than calm, we lose connection. So, at the heart of our vision is a world where children are nurtured not just intellectually, but emotionally, soulfully, and with mind body awareness through somatic practices. We root everything in 6 core pillars: connection, emotional literacy, nature as a teacher, empowerment, exploration, community. These aren't just abstract ideals to us, they're woven into every story, practice, and interaction that we create. So, a little bit about me. I'm a mom of 4 and an advocate for social emotional wellness in children. Over the years, I've worked closely with families through public schools, Montessori communities, and SEL programs with the YMCA. I also volunteer with young children twice a week, sometimes 3, which helps me stay really connected to what kids are needing right now. I knew that I was being called to help children reconnect with their inner light and their emotional truth in the natural world, and Starsea Quest is the manifestation of that call. It's bringing together everything that I've lived, learned, and loved to support kids and families from the inside out. So, how do we meet this rising tide of overwhelm? With Starsea Quest, children learn to name and navigate big emotions confidently, journey through play challenges, and develop their superpower through connection to nature and themselves. It's rooted in both neurobiology and ancient wisdom. Our tools use rhythm, breath, nature, and loving presence, all told through story and play to help kids feel safe, seen, and supported while having fun. And it all begins with our first offerings. So meet Starsea Beam. This is the cosmic hearted guide. She Sherpas children through magical nature quests, inviting them to explore their inner world with curiosity and care. So this is what we're launching first, our debut book, Starsea and the Shimmering Light. This is a mystical bedtime story that I wrote back in 2022. It opens emotional awareness and wonder in children, and it establishes our brand. So the story becomes kind of the heart of a multimedia experience for kids ages 4 to 12. But this is just the beginning. As we unfold new opportunities with growth with card deck to enhance gaming and fun adventures, along with guided meditations. So we see Starsea Quests growing alongside children and families it serves, expanding into a constellation of emotionally wise tools. Our nature quests and earth-based kits invite children outside to touch the soil, notice the wind in the trees, and remember their connection to the living world around them. Somatic tools like the Light and Thunder bag give kids something that they can hold on to help them process big emotions through sensory grounding. And our future conscious tech includes artificial intelligence and augmented reality, not to escape, but to enhance connection. AR to layer wonder into the natural world, and AI for personalized guidance and practices. We see each tool as a star helping kids remember their light, their power, and their place in the world. And so here's how we're planting this garden. Phase 1, we will launch our foundational tools, the storybook, card deck, and the first set of guided meditations. And in phase 2, we'll build out the interactive workshops, nature-based quests, and digital resources to support families in everyday life. And then in phase 3, we will scale new books in the series, patenting our somatic tools like the Light and Thunder bag, and further developing family-centered offerings for homes, classrooms, and healing spaces. So who is this for? We see this serving families in schools like Montessori and Waldorf, homeschool communities, learning pods, therapeutic spaces, and family co-ops, and also a future where emotional roots matter just as much as tech skills. As a mom of a sensitive neurodivergent child myself and a weekly classroom volunteer, I really see how much this is needed. Even brilliant kids are struggling. And as Professor Dr. Poe recently shared, we're still missing the tools that truly speak to their hearts. I recently connected with Dr. Po Shen Lo. He's a professor at Carnegie Mellon and a VP of the International Math Olympiad Foundation. So he works with some of the nation's brightest young minds, and even they're struggling emotionally. So we're both seeing it. Even brilliance can't bloom without emotional roots. Youth anxiety is up 61% since 2016. And SEL needs are rising across every child-centered space. But beyond the stats, the stories are louder. Dr. Poe is thinking outside of the box, and so are we. So what sets Starsea Quests apart? Well, we combine and expand upon the best of what KiwiCo, Slumberkins, and Little Renegades have to offer by creating a comprehensive family multimedia platform. It's cohesive and character-driven. It's a science meets ancient practice, neurobiological storytelling experience, and a sensory nature-based set of emotional tools. It's also designed for home, school, and therapy, and so much more. This is our plan to launch from now through early 2026. We will be finalizing the production of the heart of the platform, the first book, whilst also integrating our card deck for emotional development through games on the go, and both short and long form free and premium meditations that can be easily accessed through various media platforms such as YouTube. And then we'll be seeding our interest list and pre-order infrastructure. And then in spring of 2026, we will open pre-orders. And in summer of 2026, we will fulfill those for early access and coordinate our community launch. We'll also be outreaching to aligned schools, families, and platforms throughout. And we just feel that this isn't a product only, it's a growing ecosystem of emotional literacy and soul-aligned learning that can expand upon for years to come. So SEL, social emotional learning, and children's publishing are projected to exceed 37 billion by 2030. And I'm sure you're getting a lot of pitches with AI, as you should be. We're on a precipice of major change, but in a world increasingly shaped by AI, we're not competing, we're complementing. bringing children back into their inner worlds and the living world around them comprehensively through technology and media that puts children in a focused form of nature. Starsea Quests blends story, nature, and tools to help kids feel rooted in who they are. Because in the future that we're co-creating, it's not just about what we know, but how we show up. So this is the invitation. At this time, we're not opposed to their involvement, but we're not really seeking traditional investors solely focused on ROI. We're calling in aligned collaborators, mission-aligned donors, educators, therapists, artists, tech visionaries, schools and healing centers that are open to piloting some of our practices, digital partners who are ready to help expand the story. And if you feel the resonance in this, then we already consider you a part of the Starsea field. And thank you for journeying with us. Together, we can grow our universe of well-being one quest at a time. If you'd like to scan the QR code, you can get a free mini quest or reach out to us at gardenwithinmovement@gmail.com.
Well, that was awesome, Shauna. I wished that I was 6 years old again because I would have really loved this kind of program. That's the kind of kid that I was. So
Thank you. That's great to hear.
we've entered into the Q&A and feedback section. If you'd like to speak, go ahead and raise your Zoom hand or just let us know in the chat. We'll do this a little bit orderly. Looks like Kent is our first question asker. Go for it, Kent.
Yeah, I have one of my many projects on a back burner is a ham camp, would be a ham radio type camp, and I have a bunch of kids in the kind of the similar art style you had.
Okay.
They're sitting around some equipment in a tent, and there's nature around and everything. So they're kind of out in the wilderness doing that kind of stuff. As far as
Beautiful.
storytelling, it's kind of the history of uh, going from one if by land, two if by sea, three if by air. There's a balloon hovering, or there's smoke signals with Indians, and they're saying, "White man lies again." Kind of in a humorous fashion, just kind of going in the telegraph keys. Hey, I think the ship is sinking, stuff like that. And then to the space people, and this is ham radio, so I have pigs as my characters, and they're in a spacesuit floating around in space. So I don't know, but
Very cool.
it's fun. You can incorporate some of the tech in there, and like, what kind of adventures are you dealing with? Or I'm so science fictional, and the young
Yeah.
adult type stuff I read is like they're fighting aliens or stuff like that. I don't know.
Well, these galactic beings are benevolent. And
Okay.
in this story, it's a really simple kind of bedtime story that, like I said, just establishes our brand, readable in one night to your kids. And it's about a galactic class that's visiting Earth for the first time, and they kind of see some problems that we're dealing with,
Yeah.
and they're guiding us towards more harmony and connection with our natural world. And so they're going on their first class trip to visit, and they end up finding a lost animal, and that's kind of the basis of the story. But they are a benevolent
Nice.
race.
Yeah. All right. Good.
All right, next up, Nazi.
I was wondering, who did the art that you have on your slides? Is that art all representative of the art that's in the product?
Yeah, so the slide that shows the main character, that is my artist. And then a lot of the other slides are just generated through a platform. But the
Okay.
character herself is through my artist that is doing the illustrations for the book.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm.
All right, Rich, you're up.
So, are you doing like, are you doing like a YouTube strategy at all, or are you planning a YouTube
Yes.
strategy?
Yes, that is one of the major things that I would love some help with. Someone who has the wherewithal and knowledge in launching a YouTube in the correct way. Um, right now, I have a lot of the meditations written. They have yet to be recorded, but strategy is one of the big things that I'm looking into before obviously doing any kind of soft launch or launch.
Okay. It's more about creating content, and um, so I mean, I'll just put my contact information and but the big thing is just creating content, and there's a lot of great tools right now to create content, actually really good content.
Hmm.
And you could do it in a few hours, and then using the same style that you have. Um,
Hmm.
so I'll put my information in there, but that's really but it's something you just have to do consistently,
Right.
and it's not hard. It's like a marathon. You just got to keep doing it.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of where I am now. It's like I have things written, but I've been kind of waiting on strategy to kind of build up a log of content. And so
Yeah, so I just
that
put
would
my
be really
email in
helpful.
there, and if you want to just reach out to me, I could kind of point you in the right direction.
That'd be amazing. Thank you.
All right. We got plenty of time for other questions and feedback. Shauna, how far are you on having like the book published, or how are you going to publish it? Is it
Hmm.
an ebook, a physical book?
Yeah, so it is going to be a physical hardcover book. The illustrations have taken some time. They're pretty high quality illustrations, and we've had to kind of give some grace with timeline on that. With that being said, we are on the cover page now, and so it should be done within the next few weeks, and then I'll be moving on to graphic design with the book. I already have the printer, it's an international printing company, set up. I plan on doing some self-distribution along with working with brick and mortar places as well. That will obviously take more of the profit.
Have you considered at all? Well, one, I'm not sure how you're funding that, but I was thinking this would be a great thing for a crowdfunder type platform, and I wondered if you
Yes.
thought about that.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? Funny enough, I actually did write out a whole Indiegogo a few months ago, and I never ended up fully launching it. And I
Hmm.
think that that is also the kind of thing that um, calls for strategy.
Hmm.
And I didn't really have that, and so I never really fully launched. But I agree that it could help with some of the backing and getting some capital in to do that first order of books.
Yeah.
But we'll
And
also have digital book as well.
yeah, and there are marketing folks and agencies that that's all they do is work on crowdfunding strategies,
Right.
but they're not cheap. I think you
Right.
can still do it on your own, but it's going to take a lot of your energy to get that done. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And, I'll be quite honest, until now, this has been years in the making, and it's pretty much been a one-woman show. I mean, I have people that I've collaborated with, and I have parents that are asking for pilots. I'm actually putting together a pilot now for some parents at the school because I've noticed that a lot of these practices that I've developed are really helping kids in the classroom. So I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
it's not just my kids, this is helping all these other kids. So I'm starting to put that together now and invite more people in, and that's part of why I'm doing this presentation.
Yeah, and even with your existing community, you could pre-sell the
Right.
books and collect money that way without using a platform if in the beginning, if you need that, or even just to get people excited about it. So,
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
so Rich, you're up.
So one thing can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
One thing you can actually do is you can, and actually I'm going to put a link in it because I did this a number of years ago. Is you could self-publish a book,
Yes.
and the upfront cost is real. It's actually really low, and and it'd be available on Amazon. It'll be available on Kindle in different formats.
Right.
And then you don't have to have the capital to print up a bunch of books. But
Like the print on demand.
exactly. And then but I had a book that I wrote a number of years ago to help promote my business. And then what I would do is I would order, if I was going to go to a trade show, I would order like 50 books, and they were like, I don't know, $3 a piece back then.
Mhm.
But it was all black and white. Color is obviously going to be more expensive. But then I would have it on hand, and I could sell it. The unit per price is going to be bigger, but your upfront cost is smaller. And then what you can do is just consider this like your MVP. so that you're not stuck with a large amount of inventory. And
Right.
then you know, and I've seen people who have self-published books, it gets a lot of traction and gets the notice of big publisher, and then they take it
Right.
on. But and I actually know a person that actually kind of that's her it's actually one of my someone I used to work with. She is has a side business right now where she actually will take a book, take the art, and then there's a certain format you have to do to self-publish. You know, there's like bleeds and all
Mhm.
this.
Right. Yes.
And she knows how to do that. So I could also refer, you know, just you have my contact information.
Thank
That
you.
might be easier way to do it with less capital up front.
Thank you. Yeah. And I did choose to self-publish just because there are so many components to this project, right? That I really wanted to maintain creative control of it. Um, but yeah, there are a lot of components that go into self-publishing that I've been sorting through.
Yeah. So I have a question, Shauna. One of your stages is to build a community around
Mhm.
this. And are you focusing like on a local community first, or what geography do you want to do that in?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I connected with Dr. Poe about because he also has built out and thinking outside of the box program for kids' needs. And he said that to start grassroots, start with my local community, with the parents in the school, maybe posting online for some more parent groups, and that just word of mouth is the best way to go. And so that's kind of what I've been planning on. That with once we're ready to kind of do more of a launch, I will have, targeted marketing ads and such for community building.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Shauna, you might want to check out the chat during our next
Oh,
presentation. There's a few comments there.
absolutely, I will.
Um, going, gone on asking questions. I get to ask the final question, which we ask all our presenters, is how can this community help you?
Yeah, well, just the feedback is invaluable and any suggestions or connections, anything that pops into your mind that might be helpful as we bring this vision to life is greatly, greatly appreciated.
Well, awesome. And hey, when you get published, come back and let us know. So
Absolutely,
well,
I will.
not get published because you're going to be doing the publishing, but you know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah, once the book's out, yeah. And I
Yeah,
plan to do, events, fairs and things, book signings, all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah. And also mentioned to you if you want to do another 1 million cups, Chico has a 1 million cups. So you might want
okay.
to check that out. Um, they meet in person, but I think sometimes their presenters are on Zoom. Do you live in Grass Valley or where?
I'm in Lincoln for now.
In
I might
Lincoln.
be
Okay.
moving soon, but yeah, in
Close.
Lincoln.
I was
Yeah.
kind of close. So yeah, so that would be something to check out. All right. Well,
I
let's
tried to check into I
go
tried to
ahead.
check into Chico this morning, and I they weren't there, so I jumped over here.
Oh, okay. Well, it's
So I
good to
think
see you.
they're having a conference. I think this week.
I think that was last week, but maybe they're exhausted. They had the Grow Tech Fest last week, on Thursday and Friday, I think, at in Chico. So, all right. Well, thank you, Shauna.
Thank
Round of
you. Thank you,
applause.
everybody. Thank
So, now we'll move on to our second presentation with Helping Hand, Elias Farzad. Did I pronounce your last name right, Elias?
Yeah. Farzad is okay.
Okay. So you can go ahead and share your screen, and when you're
Awesome.
ready, we will get started. Ideally, your presentation is about 6 minutes long.
Okay. Are you guys able? Okay, sharing it now. Are
Yep.
you guys able to see your screen?
Yep. We can see your screen. You're all good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, first, I just want to start by saying, Shauna, that's such a cool idea. Our startup is also based on uh, teaching kids. Where yeah, no, you'll hear about it in the page, but awesome idea. Awesome idea. I love hearing about it. So to start, good morning, everyone. My name is Elias, and I'm here with my team to introduce Helping Hand. We are a startup that is using robotics and AI to make sign language learning more accessible, interactive, and human. We're breaking barriers by building connection and giving every child a voice regardless of their hearing ability. In the United States, there's thousands of children that are in the K through 12 age range that experience language deprivation because they don't have consistent access to ASL instruction. Traditional learning methods like pictures or videos fail to engage kids or provide any type of like real feedback. And as a result, a lot of children grow up disconnected from their families and communities simply because they can't or they weren't able to learn to communicate early enough. Our solution is a robotic arm that teaches sign language through real time and real space demonstration, as well as AI that actually gives the children feedback. Children can use the product to practice signing, get visual feedback, and learn in a much more engaging way. And our goal is to kind of mimic like a teacher sitting right by them or a tutor. Here's a little video I can show of a demo of our website that we've already created. Connected. I'm gonna do all letters, okay? There's A. Awesome. So I in fact did not do all the letters, but you get the idea of what we kind of already have developed. So our goal in terms of who we are and what we're trying to build, our goal is essentially to build connection, not just to teach sign language. Uh, our robotic hand turns learning to kind of, as I mentioned, an engaging human experience where kids can feel seen, families can communicate better with each other, and helping prevent language deprivation early, as I mentioned before. Our team includes backgrounds in both computer science and computer engineering, and we're especially passionate about accessibility and the kind of the intersection between technology and education, which is where this idea came from. To make sure that we were building something that people needed, what we did was for validation, we interviewed over 90, I think it was about 100 people across California. And this included teachers, interpreters, students, and schools like hard of hearing schools and accessibility schools across California. And what we found was that mentors and educators believe that it would help keep kids more engaged during lessons. So kind of like a complement to their lessons. Kids who actually tried the prototype, they loved using the product and the website. Beginners found it helpful for learning basic ASL, and current signers actually noted that it was a bit limited for them. And this is due to the fact that ASL, as you start signing more complex phrases and terms, not only do you use your entire arm, but you also use your other arm, and you also start using your entire body and things like that. And from that, we're actually not aiming to teach children how to sign words or phrases. For now, we're just sticking with the alphabet. And the data from those interviews showed that everyone we interviewed was at least somewhat interested in the idea, and most said that they would be more motivated to learn ASL given our product or using our product. The average perceived fair price landed at around $100. And in essence, kids were highly engaged, teachers loved the classroom potential, and our actual testing showed that students and children preferred it to traditional tools because of its interactivity and its affordability. Here we have a child who actually uses the product. So that's a little bit more testing that we did. And in terms of our business status, we're now past like the pre-seed stage where we validated the need for it. We're currently building out our minimum viable product. Currently, we have something that we have a website, as you saw earlier, that already detects signs and demonstrates it through the robotic hand. Um, we're planning to just continue building that out right now. And our next steps are to um, continue building it out, expand testing with more users, and seeking support, obviously, from accelerators and organizations, and just in general, getting feedback from events like 1 Million Cups, right? So far, we've been off to an exciting start. There was a competition at Sac State called Hornet Hacks 3.0. We not only did we get first place in our category, but we also got first place in the entire competition, and that included, I think it was 25 to 30 teams or so. We're now obviously pitching to 1 million Cubs for feedback. We've also joined the Innovation Lab at the Carlson Center at Sac State to develop further and to get a little bit more direction on the business side of things. And we're also in touch with possible sponsors for software help as well as hardware designs. In terms of our landscape, we have some classic ASL learning models. This includes videos, which are a low feedback and low engagement model, where students rarely retain much of what they learn. Classes can vary depending on the instructor, and often they cost a lot. And private tutoring would be a good competitor because it's very high engagement and it's high feedback. However, the downside to that would be the cost. It usually costs anywhere from $50 to $100 an hour, and sometimes even more, depending on the instructor. Some other companies, when we did our research, are exploring similar ideas, but they lack either in the feedback department or the engagement level. They either, they lack the robotic hand, or they lack the kind of feedback that helping hand is able to give. We're the only solution for now that combines robotics, so hardware and software, with obviously using AI to create like a truly interactive and affordable ASL experience for kids. For the software, plan to integrate personalized learning accounts and expand our dictionary. Uh, and on the hardware side, we're working to improve the design of our robot, the durability and the usability of our robot. In terms of our business model, our goal is to follow a freemium kind of structure where we give the website as just a free basic access, and have a premium option that gives a personalized learning experience, like a curriculum. And then if our clients would like, they can purchase our robot as well. And the price for this would be around $100, which is validated through the interviews that I had mentioned earlier. And we're planning to scale by partnering with hard of hearing schools and ASL programs at colleges, at universities, as well as schools that are across California. First, with our local businesses, and then moving on from there. And in terms of how you guys can help, we would love to we're looking for mentorship, for feedback. If you guys have any connections within the assistive technology world and education, and any guidance on just kind of this whole idea. You guys are all on 1 million cows, so um, you can try out our software using this QR code. We can also enter in currently we have our development project deployed on a website. I can enter in that link right after this presentation in the chat. And to end, just wanted to show what our team looks like. Edgar and Selma are our engineering brains, our engineering and business brains. Me, Amelie, and V, we are the computer science brains, and together we're trying to build a future where learning sign language feels natural, inclusive, and empowering. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Elias. I have a question. How did you guys identify and choose to work on this problem?
So actually, let me see. My team is here, right? So we actually have one member on our team, specifically Edgar. If you're here, you can answer with the experience that you had.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, my bad. My video cam does not work, but I can definitely talk about this part. Uh, and I'll be honest with you guys, it all started when I was working as a cashier at Popeyes. And I'm always talking to customers, and I'm always like upfront with everyone. I had a family come into my store. It was an entire family that was mute, and they only communicated through sign language, and it was a very I'd say embarrassing moment in my end because I couldn't communicate with his family, and I just felt in distress. I felt like I needed to learn. I thought about a solution. This is where the idea came from. when we participated in the hackathon when we were trying to find solutions to different problems.
Great. Thanks for that. Well, we've got a lot of questions lined up. Kent, you're up. You're on mute. Oh, he's going to communicate with us through sign language.
Yeah. I want some cake, and then I can spell, DEFGH,
Right.
whatever. But I learned that just kind of as a lark back in the day. I've also got a ham license and I do Morse code, and I wrote a
Wow.
Morse code decoder, and so you that's another way to deal with maybe visually impaired or deaf people, is to Morse code can do beeps and lights and things like that. My dad was a signalman instructor in the Navy,
Wow.
and they did semaphore. There was a guy doing the lights with the Morse code, and he was doing the semaphore flags. So it's kind of interesting, these different methods of communication that have gone through the military and in civilian life. So that's interesting. So the robotic, I guess I'm amazed that robotic arm is within that $100 price point. So I guess it can do the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J.
Now you're just
Anyway,
showing off, Kent.
yeah. Well, anyway, so okay, good.
No, that's
I'm
awesome. That's
amazed
awesome.
that the robotics is coming that far for that price point. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. The actual reason, Edgar can also get into the reasoning on why our costs are so low. If you want to explain, Edgar.
Yeah, the amazing part about our robotic hand is that it is 3D printed. And the filament that we use is PLA as of right now. And filament's very cheap. You can buy for like what, $12 on Amazon. So it's very accessible to anyone. And aside from that, all the parts in the robotic hand is fairly cheap. You can buy it for low cost. So overall, I'd say that definitely our product costs in between, I think, $50 at max. But our validation with our customers, they indicated that they're willing to pay up for 100 or more for this solution for their students.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Rich.
So, I think what you do is really interesting. And I'm glad one of my other question was how this came about. So I'm glad, that the origin story is always interesting too. Um, what I would suggest though, have you just thought of doing a software only solution instead of doing the hardware? Uh, and I think this solves a couple of problems and actually could expand it. So there are already softwares out there that do like Avatar. You can make avatars and probably integrate it with third party. Like HeyGen is an example. And what it does is when it's cheaper, hardware in general is always harder because then you have to. It's a magnitude more complex than software. Uh, I think if you develop a more of a software solution that uses like an AI avatar that does the signing, it solves a couple problems.
I see.
One is that it isn't just the arm, you could do the whole body portion of it. And so right now you're using it as a teaching tool. But if you do create this, then it can almost be like a Google Translate, where if there is someone with, it could be used as a way to communicate with the deaf community. Like, in the situation with the gentleman that worked at Popeyes, he can pull up in theory, he could pull it out. The AI can actually interpret what's being signed. And then it can also render, if he says something, it could render a response. So that's my suggestion is maybe go more of a software route as opposed to the hardware route, which and the other thing too is become scalable.
Mm.
If you do hardware, then you have to get distribution, yada yada yada. Software scalable. It's just an app on the App Store, and then so distribution becomes almost seamless.
Yeah, I can actually speak on this. So the software that you're talking about, there is a solution in beta by NVIDIA. It's called Signs, and it's kind of like the same thing wherein they're developing like an avatar that can show sign language, and it's all purely software. And so with our team, we are focusing on the software as well. The hardware aspect of it is in addition, which means if you don't want to touch any of the hardware, if you don't want to use the robot hand, that is completely fine. You are still able to access our software, learn through our software without the robotic hand, and it will like work the same. And it's kind of like what you're saying, wherein it'll just be like an avatar sign and a feedback live checker. Meanwhile, NVIDIA's solution called Signs, it's literally just teaching you sign language with no feedback, and its engagement is not tailored for kids, and that's where our solution differs from them. But we are definitely considering, scaling with our software without the need of hardware, so
Okay.
because we are focused on accessibility and affordability as well.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. That's amazing advice. I like the idea of like a full body avatar that signs the complex phrases that obviously sign language has. So we appreciate it, Rich. Thank you.
All right, up next is Mike.
Hello. As someone who took many languages in Sac State and mastered none of them, ASL was 2 semesters of it many moons ago, and this was back when it was all, if you didn't have an ASL dictionary, you were kind of screwed because there were no YouTube videos and you couldn't go just find it anywhere. So I had to make up a lot of it as pantomime. But kind of, I was actually thinking along the same lines as Rich that although I do feel like the integration of the physical movement of the hand is nice to have if you're showing the complicated movements, but then you can get more articulate close-ups for people of how they do the different gestures. One of the other applications that I was thinking of when you were demonstrating this was going back to a junior high or something. We had a woman come in who was I think she was born blind and became deaf when she was 4 years old or something like that. And the way that she would communicate was she was somebody like literally finger spelling or signing into her hand. And I wonder if, depending on the technology and the engineering, could this thing be articulate enough and quick enough to serve that purpose for that? Maybe it's a much more smaller community, a much smaller community of that's deaf and blind, but could use that finger spelling into their hand directly like that.
Hmm.
And then just one other thing that popped in my mind in the last couple seconds was this is like 6 years ago in Japan at some innovative conferencing. I met some guy who was a bit of a crazy person, but he had developed this tactile ball to be used in design and engineering. And he's been looking for a use for it for years. I think he still is on LinkedIn. I see him once in a while popping up, but I'm wondering if this might be a match for that somehow of rather than having to program in all the different moves, if it can be a more tactile thing for people to communicate like that. But if that's of interest, let me know. I can help track him down.
That's interesting. Wait, so you mentioned it's a ball?
So it looks like if you had two PS2 controllers or something that were orbs of some kind, and they were malleable. So it was his demonstration was always if you're designing a car and you think of the traditional sculpting of the car's design and the clay and everything like that, but being able to do it on an engineering like CAD software or something and being able to manipulate with your fingers more fine detail.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. Yeah, if you said he was on LinkedIn here and there, if you could drop out, we'd love to look into that.
Okay. Yep. Will
Yeah,
do.
appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
So along those lines, while you were giving your presentation, I had another thought about a possible use. Of course, I don't like to advise founders to go search every single market, but you guys are in college, so Um, this might be interesting, but um, so people who have carpal tunnel syndrome or arthritis, there are a bunch of like hand exercises to do. And I could see this being the robotic arm, instead of a physical
Oh,
therapist. And I actually do have a lot of arthritis in my hands. And so I'll go online and, try to find these exercises. And it's not 3D. So sometimes it's hard for me to see exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do. So I was thinking about your hand could, show the exact move that you're supposed to do. Although I don't know if does it have as much range of motion as an actual hand?
so yeah, so that's actually one thing that we one of the limitations of our product currently is the actual hardware. What we have control of right now, in terms of the motors and the like the way the fingers work on the robot hand is we like on a technical side, we basically just have each finger be a separate entity, and each finger is either closed or open, closed or open, closed or open.
Okay.
And so that's like what we're working with right now with our minimum viable product. That's what we have, and that's why we were able to just do a few letters at the start. And something we want to look into, which is what I was mentioning, is improving our hardware to be able to, like you said, be able to move your wrist, be able to move fingers around, be able to do that, and then once that is available, then perhaps something like your idea could actually be very helpful and be an actual solid idea.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just wanted to throw that out as something else, potentially how something like that could be used. And yeah, a lot of the arthritis and carpal tunnel type movements do require movement of the wrist, or
Mhm.
things like moving the thumb all the way over here.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's something you guys could do, but you could probably do like one of the exercises is like this. I'm sure you
Mhm.
could do something like that,
Yeah,
maybe.
like
Or
how?
although you'd be doing it like that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, well, very cool. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
we have time for another question or two. If there aren't any, then we'll get going. Did anyone? Oh,
Oh,
in the
Mike.
chat, people want to know how they can contact you, so you could put that in there. And so let me ask you. Oops, look like Franklin wants. Okay, Franklin, otherwise known as 1 million cups. Go ahead and ask a
I
question.
apologize on it. I do have an additional question and maybe suggestion. I think I was thinking initially along the same line as Rick in terms of a software solution, but I think you do have other applications. For example, when you listen to a lot of press conferences, there's usually someone off to the side, but I'm assuming it's always very difficult to find someone who can do that. So your tool could go
Mhm.
along with that as well as teleprompters, speeches at auditoriums. You can, so there's some applications there as well that would be super relevant to having hardware, right? Because it's instantly you can set the other thing too, I think it sounds like you also have some industrial application. If you can get all the movement with the hands, right? Even agricultural, fruit picking, etc., which because those things are so easy to break. So it sounds like your application is endless, especially if you're able to perfect that technology. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
I
right,
appreciate
thanks for
that.
that, Franklin. So our final question is, how can our community help you?
Okay, awesome. Uh, and as a precursor to that, you can contact us. I'll enter in my LinkedIn and my email in the chat, and in my team. You guys are listening. You guys can also enter in your LinkedIn's and your emails in the chat. Feel free to connect with us or to email us at any time. Um, but yeah, I think we're mainly looking for your guys' ideas and your guys' feedback is as Shauna mentioned, it's invaluable. So and any type of feedback that you guys have, your guys' ideas, is really helpful to us, and the connections that we can make through organizations like this and through events like this is mainly what we're looking for right now in the stage that we're at.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Elias and team.
Thank
Very
you,
good
guys.
presentation.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. So I'm going to take us now to the final countdown. And let's see. Ooh, let me get rid of that. Okay, so if you want to check in and let us know you were here, you can just scan that QR code. Franklin will also just post the link directly in the chat. That makes it easier. If you want to sign up to get our newsletter, that when you let us know that you're here with QR code, that you can choose that as well. So that's an easy way to get connected with us. So if you're a founder and you'd like to present, there's lots of opportunity. You can just go to 1millioncups.com/Sacramento. Franklin is also posting the link in the chat, and apply to present. You don't have to have a day in mind yet. Once we review your application, we'll let you know. And then together we'll schedule a time that works. And right now, the 3 Wednesdays in December that we're actually meeting, we have openings. So we encourage you to apply to present or let your friends know. Also, if you're interested in being on the 1 Million Cups team, I say there's always room, but those pictures are going to get smaller and smaller on the team slide. But if this is something community service-wise that you'd like to do, just connect with any of us and we'd be happy to tell you more. So some ways to stay connected between now and next Wednesday. There's a private moderated Facebook group, Startup Sac Facebook group, where you can communicate with other entrepreneurs. Also, there's 2 weekly emails that come out that round up all the things that are going on in the region for entrepreneurs. The Sacramento Startup Digest, which I'm one of the curators, and the Carlson Center newsletter, which Arlene puts out. Then again, love to see you in person next week. You can also join us online. We're going to be at Sac State, and we've got 2 great in-person presentations going on. So come for free coffee. If you come before 9 a.m., we'll give you a 1 Million Cups travel mug. So some of the things that are going on this week, there's the SBA has a Pathways to Procurement small business certification program going on later on tonight. I believe that's online. Oh, no, it's in person. The tonight startup pitch workshop, similar to 1 Million Cups, but observers don't get to talk, but we have investors giving feedback to 2 people who are pitching, who are investment ready. Then also tonight at Urban Hive, Startup Grind, AI Meets Consciousness, a fireside chat with Sadie St. Lawrence, who is a local thought leader in AI. So I encourage you to check that out. And some other events here, ProBiz Procurement Summit and Clean Start Perspectives. So I mentioned at the beginning that next week is Global Entrepreneurship Week. There is a ton going on, over 20 events happening this week, a lot of them on campus at Sac State, but also in other areas in the region. So come check it out. And one of those events is Startup Happy Hour. That's a monthly event, but this is the Global Entrepreneurship Week edition. We'll be meeting at oh, we don't have the location there, but we're meeting in Elk Grove at I forget the name of the venue, but we have a cool speaker, Rebecca, with Valley Match, which is a company that was locally grown and then acquired in just a couple of years. So some applications are open. The Sacramento Entrepreneurship Academy kicks off in January. They meet every Saturday through early May, and it's a great program to get your company launched. Also, the Traction Lab Venture Accelerator is accepting applications ongoing, and NSF iCorp's Customer Discovery course, that's happening a couple times a month, and that's online, so check that out. So, without any further ado, I shall bring it home, and thank you for joining us today. We'll stick around for any other questions you might have or anything you want to talk about for 10 or 15 minutes or so. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and